Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank y'all so much for being here. Marty and I are proud to be here this afternoon in support of our good friend and a principled jurist. Andrew Pinson's resume and experience on the bench speaks volumes about his qualifications to stay on the Georgia Supreme Court, and his hard work and dedication since I appointed him to that position 2 years ago have certainly proven that he is the right individual to continue serving our great state. Andrew has done what I knew he would. He has upheld his oath to be fair, impartial, and independent from partisan politics. And that's exactly what Georgians expect from Andrew and his colleagues. We're asking all Georgians to join us in keeping Andrew Pinson on the Georgia Supreme Court, because we need judges like Andrew who uphold the law, follow the Constitution, not more partisan politicians in the courtroom. I know I speak for all of us here today, being joined by our First Lady Marty Kemp and our Insurance and Fire Safety Commissioner General John King, that we are proud of Andrew Pinson's service to our state. First as our state Solicitor General, then on the Court of Appeals, and now as a justice on our highest court. And I hope that all Georgians will turn out tomorrow on Election Day and do as we have and vote for Andrew Pinson, and let's keep him on the Georgia Supreme Court. So with that, let's get the vote out tomorrow, and with that, I'll turn it over to Justice Pinson.
Thanks so much, Governor. First of all, I want to say I'm proud to have the governor's support. I first got to know the governor working as Solicitor General for the state, both in the water wars litigation and many other important issues for our state. The governor then appointed me to the Court of Appeals and then to the Supreme Court. The fact that I have his support now tells me that I am doing this job the right way. As I told him, exactly as I told him when I interviewed for the position for the Court of Appeals, I have upheld my oath to defend our Constitution. I have upheld the rule of law. I've approached every case that comes before us with an open mind, fairly and impartially, and I've applied the law as it's written, not as it should be, not as we want it to be, because judges are not legislators and that's not our job. My record shows that I've done this job the right way in all of those ways, and that's why I can stand here today not only with the full support of the governor, but with strong bipartisan support from across the state of Georgia. Elected officials from both sides of the aisle, Supreme Court justices, past bar presidents, and many others who are in both political parties and who disagree about all kinds of issues across the state. But all of these people recognize that Georgia is and can be a model for how courts should work. The people of Georgia chose a nonpartisan judiciary. They chose a judiciary that is independent of partisan politics. And we chose that because people deserve confidence that when they go into the courtroom, whether the case is big or small, that they have confidence that the courts are going to be fair and impartial and that they're going to get an equal shot, an equal opportunity at justice. That's why this election is so important. Because of the way that my opponent has run his campaign, the people of Georgia have an important decision. We can preserve this independent judiciary that we have set up through our Constitution. We can keep a justice system that is fair and impartial, or we can have a system of partisan politicians in black robes. I am committed to maintaining an impartial and independent judiciary. I'm confident the people of Georgia are too, and that's why I think we need to get out the vote and show that tomorrow on Election Day. Thank you.
All right, y'all got any questions?
Governor Justice Pinson talked about the importance of an independent, nonpartisan judiciary that you're giving to the Republican Party's leaders. Do you think that undercuts the argument of wanting a fair and impartial justice?
As I just explained, I am proud to have the governor's support. I'm proud to have the support of Commissioner King. I'm the only person in this race with strong bipartisan support. And I think that's clear from my steering committee, from all of my donors, and from everywhere else across Georgia. I think that speaks volumes.
Well, I mean, listen, I appointed Justice Pinson, so people are going to make that argument, I guess, or could make it. But the bottom line is that we're here. Marty is sending a strong statement with her support, our three daughters' support, that we think this man has been doing a good job on the bench, not trying to make the law, not being a partisan politician. He's certainly not a career politician like his opponent. He has spent his whole career studying and practicing the law on behalf of our state. When you think about the roles he's had as Solicitor General in the Attorney General's office, I know firsthand how hard he fought for our state on issues that were important to us, like the water wars, and I know his service on the Court of Appeals, and certainly as a Supreme Court Justice, he's continued to uphold the law and the Constitution. That's what he's supposed to do. He's not running for the legislature. He is on a nonpartisan court. He's done a good job, and I think, deserves to be reelected. I know General King, I'll let him speak to this as a former law enforcement officer, but he had a unique perspective when we were visiting in the office.
Thank you, Governor. Great question. As a lifelong law enforcement officer, we want judges that will judge the facts. And the idea that a candidate for the top office in our courts to already have prejudged a future case, I think it's just something that's very dangerous about that. Clearly, the law enforcement needs to know that we have judges that will judge the merits of a case, not already signal a predisposition of which way. I think that's dangerous for our democracy, and it will make people have less confidence in our judiciary. I think it's a dangerous precedent. That's why it's never happened. And we're actually having that discussion today, that one candidate is already telegraphed, this is how I'm going to see this. I think that's dangerous for our democracy. I don't think it's healthy for our state.
Well, I mean, look, it's a statewide race. It's a May primary. You think about there's, every Georgian that's out there that's going to be voting, can vote on this race. It will be on their ballot. Doesn't matter if you're pulling a Republican ballot, a Democratic ballot, or whether you're pulling a nonpartisan ballot. And there's, quite honestly, a lot of areas around the state that don't necessarily have a lot of high-profile races, either sheriff's primary, legislative primaries, congressional races that have contested, heated primaries. And so we're just trying to raise the awareness that, look, this is a really important race. It's at the top of the ticket when you think about a statewide elected official. We have prided ourselves on this in this state of having the nonpartisan judiciary that Justice Pinson talked about. And we just want to make sure that all the Georgians out there that are seeing this know that, they need to go vote tomorrow and vote to keep a great jurist on our Supreme Court, Andrew Pinson.
With a high court where 8 or 9 justices were appointed by Republican governors, where you've gone on television describing Justice Pinson as a conservative, is that truly a nonpartisan court, or just one that fits with the view of how Republicans view the court?
Well, I would think that when, if you're a voter out there and you pull a nonpartisan ballot for the May primary, Justice Pinson's going to be on there. So this is a nonpartisan judiciary. There's judicial canons that the justices have to adhere to when they're running their campaign, and I know Justice Pinson takes that very seriously, trying to be above politics. But this is no different than when we had Democratic governors that had appointed Supreme Court justices. This is for the voters to decide who they think will be the person that will actually go on the bench, and as General King said, look at the merits and adhere the law, not try to make it. And I think, to me, that's above politics. And that's why Justice Pinson has bipartisan support, not only in his campaign, but on his, listed campaign committee.